Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. How's everybody? Give me 1 second here. I think I'm golden now. Got my pick-me-up little coffee. Perfect. Let's get started. So I said I'd do a little quick one tonight. Apologies for canceling yesterday, but for those of you that don't know, my oldest daughter is going off to college. We're dropping her off. Actually, we leave Monday morning to drive her up to her college, where she's going to be reporting early for volleyball camp. So last night we kind of did some stuff with her, and tonight, we're kind of getting some last minute arrangements and little things that we wanted to get done before she leaves. So yeah, it is what it is. But I still wanted to get on here. Still wanted to kind of cover some stuff from the week, and obviously preparing for Friday's NFP. I know I've seen a couple of you guys definitely catching some decent moves, and yeah, kudos to you guys. Before starting, I'd like to ask you a question. When I'm on the charts, I easily identify accumulations in distros at higher time frame, but when price arrives on the 50 or 80 zone, I struggle to find the entry. You struggle to find the entry. So is it because like the entry doesn't give you a schematic? And if that's the case, then, I can tell you what I do. The only way I take limit orders is if I can validate that price action holds something. So if it holds a structure leg or an order flow leg, then I'll put a limit order. But if there's no reason for that low or high to ultimately be my line in the sand, then yeah, I got to wait on price action. And it's just the nature of the beast. You're trading in summertime conditions, which if you've looked at any of the, I would say, the reports over the last like 90 days, you'll see that, volume is continuing to drop off. We're in a economically, we're in a time of still very tumultuous inflation. There's a lack of participants in the market because of it. So that means that you're not going to get as crisp price action as you were seeing maybe, a couple of years ago. So what I would say is this. If you're not back testing on a weekly basis to try to figure out, man, how could I have caught this move? Definitely do so. Try to figure out what's the best way to do it. If you've seen price action play out 100 times in the last, say, 120 days, 100 times you've seen it play out the same way, start augmenting how you're working in. One of the biggest things that I've done in the most recent fiscal year for me is I started incorporating buy and sell stops. Because we just weren't getting we weren't getting mitigations of our manipulation. So once I get the manipulation, I can confirm the schematic. As long as the risk to reward meets my criteria, buy and sell stops is the way that I've been mostly getting into some of these positions. Yeah, because it doesn't always print. Yeah, it is what it is. That's the nature of low liquidity. That's probably honestly one of the main reasons why I'm also not trading some of these exotic pairs. Traditionally exotic pairs already have low liquidity inside of them, low volume being traded. And, if you're struggling to see things on some of these big major pairs like EU and GU and stuff like that, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I've been chasing UJ for, geez, I don't know. I'd have to ask Thomas how long we've been chasing UJ, but it feels like 4 years now. I've been chasing UJ for buys, and yeah, it just doesn't. When it gives me something, it misses my entry. So it is what it is. Good on your end. Am I cutting out? I hope not. Does the downgrade of the U.S. credit rating mean anything to you? Not really. Nah, it doesn't affect me much. So no. It's good now. All right. Yeah, maybe it was just my stupid internet, man. Yeah, it is what it is. My internet's been up and down. Monday I was down. My internet was down for probably, I don't know, like 7 or 8 hours while they were doing maintenance and they screwed something up. So, all right, cool. So yeah, let's dive into it. I meant like bias towards like indices or any other pairs. No, no, it doesn't change anything really for me on indices, and it doesn't really affect any of the currency pairs. So, I mean, if you think about it a from an economic sense, does the lowering of the credit rating really have a detrimental effect on U.S. economy? Nope, it doesn't. Does it give a little bit of a reaction that, oh man, um, the end times are here and the US is going to default on their debt? No, it's not. I mean, this isn't the first time that it's happened, and it's not going to be the last, as long as we keep as long as we keep up the spending habits that the US policymakers are spending at. But no, it really doesn't change any of my biases. If anything, I guess it strengthens them. I'm still based off of a lot of the fundamental stuff. I'm still very bearish on some of the soft currencies. I'm still maintaining relatively bullish dollar for the short foreseeable future. So yeah, I mean, nothing really changes on that. It's still cutting out for you sometimes, really. I don't know, man. Hold on, give me a sec. Let me see. All right. Well, I unplugged my mic and plugged it back in, but we'll see if it's not that, then I don't know. It's got to be something else. But let's dive into it. So to start the week off, right? Let's reset this and get over. So big week, right? Big week in the form of data coming out. We saw, to start off the week yesterday, we saw the cash rate actually come in, and they paused it. The Australian dollar paused it. So that actually kind of fuels my fire to continuing to short the bejesus out of Australian and Kiwi pairs. And if you've looked at any of these Australian and Kiwi pairs, you'd see that they're continuing to fall off the face of the earth. So the bias has been pretty good. Positions that I've able to work my way in have been really good. Specifically like Odd CAD, Odd Chef, and AU, and then the Kiwi versions of them as well. But that was actually a pretty good thing. And what I'm going to be paying attention to is there it is right there. So tomorrow night, at least tomorrow night for me, is the RBA is going to be speaking about why they decided to do a pause. So pretty interesting data. I do like what happened, because again, it just further, it's fanning the flames of this campfire, which is the Australian and Kiwi dollars just completely going down to the abyss. Going into today's US dollar news, right? No shocker there. The US economy is still in contraction, right? One of the things we were looking at on indices shorts, especially after Friday's price action, we were really starting to see that sellers were starting to build some really good cause. And obviously the shorts, I personally am only in on US 30 shorts. There were two opportunities on US 30, and there was one on NASDAQ, but it was outside of my windows during power hour. SPX was just the leader. So, but indices have sold off pretty nicely. I'm going to continue, and we'll kind of cover it, but I'm going to continue to look for shorts going into tomorrow. And then I'm just going to wait on Friday. I'm going to see what the labor data shows. We'll kind of see what kind of happens out of that information, but I am looking for at least a pretty decent move on indices to the downside. The big thing coming out is going to be tomorrow morning, right before New York Open, is going to be the pound. Right, they're talking about a 25 basis point, and I can I mean, if someone wanted to bet me a good sum of money, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they're at minimum going to come in with 25 basis points, right? The pound has the by far the worst inflation rate out of all of the G8 countries. So there's no shadow of a doubt that they're not going to be pausing. They're definitely going to be raising rates. So I did work in a short on GU to start the week off. I took some really good profits out of it. And I'm actually waiting because we're getting into the demand area that I wanted to look for a potential buy, and that the hedge is going to work out pretty nicely. So I'll kind of walk through my game plan on potentially looking for a GU buy and go from there, kind of prepare for the manipulation that we're going to get pre New York Open. And then of course, we're getting a little more US dollar news. So we'll take a look at it. I'm not really favoring a lot on the dollar, maybe a short little EU short if it gives a pullback. You feel sad for them? For who? For the UK? Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, but I'll tell you this right now. I posted this on Instagram the other day. I went to the store to get some meat. I was doing a barbecue in my backyard. I couldn't believe the cost of beef, of different types of meat cuts, specifically like cuts of meat that I used to have to marinate for an entire 24-hour period just to get it tender enough to cook out, you know, and they're selling it for like $17 a pound now, which is ridiculous. So it is ridiculous. I mean, just I love the data, how, inflation's going down, but yet everything that you can fathomly try to buy is still showing immensely inflated prices. But it is what it is. It's inflation. It sucks. The money that you had 3 years ago is no longer worth what it is today, simply because of it. And we only have our policymakers to thank for it. So yeah, it is what it is. But so Thursday, tomorrow morning, right? The Bank of England's going to be doing their shenanigans, and then of course Friday's the big showdown, right? We got NFP. I'm very curious to see. I really don't care about average hourly earnings. The big thing for me is going to be the unemployment rate, and you can actually see they're actually forecasting a 0.1% increase, which is going to be kind of crazy. Yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy. We'll see, especially with the non-farm employment change update of 324. I mean, I'm surprised this has not been updated, but they're calling for I mean, maybe they're purposely forecasting this just so that they can get, if it comes in at, say, 5.4, or even less. I don't think we're going to see a 5.3, but maybe it stays at 5.4. This is going to be further, as long as the number comes below 5.5 or less. So if it's 5.5 or less, we're going to continue to see bullish dollar, and if that's the case, I'm going to continue to be looking for that sell off on EU. And then obviously if we can get some kind of manipulation going in prior to that on something like AU and NU, I'm definitely going to be looking for shorts on that. So I'm pretty comfortable in the data that's going to be coming out, and go from there. And then of course we also have the Canadian dollar. I really haven't been, I was looking at UCAD today for a potential short. Honestly, the price action just kind of fell apart, and I kind of just threw it on the back burner. So I'm probably not going to be doing much with the Canadian dollar outside of just continuing to short NCAD and ACAD. But that's it. I mean, the Canadian dollar, if you are looking at what UCAD's done over the last couple of days, I mean, Canadian dollar is going to continue to fall with a lot of these other soft currencies, so we'll dive into it. The anticipation for me is, again, bullish dollar, short-term bullish pound, and going into next week, we're going to get some more inflation data, right? We got CPI coming out and PPI coming out. So PPI is going to be Friday, CPI is going to be Thursday, which is actually weird because normally CPI comes out on Wednesdays. But they're, whatever, they want to change it up. And, I guess that's why, because we got a couple of holidays and stuff like that. But Yeah, for the most part, I'm going to be interesting to see where this inflation data the following week kind of puts us. But I want to be positioned in on some of these crosses to start continuing bullish dollar, um, some bullish dollar plays. All right. Let's dive into some charts. All right. I'll kind of go through real quick just the little things I'm looking at. If you guys have anything you're looking at, man, we'll take a look. We'll give it a gander. The one thing I am potentially, we'll start with dollar. What's up, bro? How's it going, man? All right. So on dollar, this is kind of, we're getting into the area where I am really wanting to pay attention. It's obviously going to be this distribution within the larger redistro. I want to see what we do. I was pretty happy that we just kind of blew through this little piece of crap price action here. I really wasn't holding my breath on it, but EU was kind of showing a little bit of an accumulation. I wanted to see if it was going to turn into a redistro, which it finally did, but it was too late in the day. Never really gave me an entry to do anything on, but potentially we're going to get an entry, hopefully during like London or Frankfurt. So overall, though, like I said, I mean, this is really the crux of where I want to see us do something. If we start to see evidence of sellers coming in the market, this could be the push that gives us, obviously a very bearish dollar. Currently, though, the fundamentals aren't supporting it. We're still, we still have a very hawkish Fed. The Fed is, honestly, they're at this point where they're going to have to double down and potentially give another rate hike. And if that's the case, I think the potential for bullish dollar greatly increases, right? So as we get a little closer on EU, we're about like 90 pips, maybe like I think it was 90, 95 pips from this area. So as we get into that area, this is where I'm really going to start paying attention to the dollar, but I have no problem continuing to buy it up in there. All right. And specifically where I'm looking at it is, all right. So specifically where I'm looking at it is going to be in here. It's this green box. This is where I'm kind of waiting to see what we do. And like I said, it's about 90, 95 pips to the downside. So, I mean, EU gives some really good spread, no big problem getting a sub 5 pip stop loss. So you can easily get your 1 to 10 coming, getting it shot down into there. The one thing that EU hasn't been giving a lot of is decent pullbacks, right? And as my charts get loaded, here we go. So, and this is where I was kind of watching, we had price that gave the distribution up here that ultimately led to the break. So now ultimately this is the redistro, right? And this is the only thing I care about. I'm looking to play the order flow within this. The two areas that really give me some good confluence is the redistribution here, which is ultimately my slingshot, right? It's the cause of the break. So price coming back into this ultimate move is going to be big, right? If we measure the entire redistro, this is the 50 and this is the 80 of it. And then obviously within that, I'm also looking at today's New York Open. I want to see especially how it kind of gave that reaction out of news. I want to see what we do here, but ultimately you could see my alert is sitting at 109,700 as we get up here. Ideally what I'm going to be doing is just playing a price action distribution. So tomorrow, ideally the game plan for me is wait for something like this, right? I want to see where we are at Asian and ultimately let Frankfurt sweep it out or London and then ultimately break and then come on down. So, 1 second. All right, hold on. I got to answer my wife back something real quick. Oh, hold on, guys. 1 second. All right, that's done. So this is kind of where I'm looking, right? I'm going to have my alert here. Hopefully, again, we can get Asian price action up into this area. And this will be my very first point of interest that I want to play into. But ideally, it's going to be the overall redistro, right? This is where I want to kind of play into, seeing if we can mitigate some of this right here. And then again, same thing, wait for the distribution and then catch it. I will be throwing, if I can get a clean distro, I guarantee you I'll be having a sell stop on it. Specifically if I can get at least that 1 to 10. So I do like the redistro that we have here. I like the effort that went into this. And this is the only thing I'm really concerned with. I'm not looking for price to come back up into this area up here on this go. I feel like if we do that, ultimately dollar is going to be very, very bearish. And I don't see a reason for dollar to be bearish quite yet until we get to Friday. So yeah, so this is my EU kind of game plan, right? Just wait for it to come up. And like I said, I'm going to be waiting for ultimately a distribution somewhere between like 0975 all the way up to like 1015. So we're talking, what is that, like a 30 pip range? I'm going to be looking for a distribution. And ideally I want a super clean, distribution that started in Asian and kind of work its way down. Can someone explain in layman's terms what a sell stop does? All right. So your sell stop is here. So if price is doing this, if the blue line here is the sell stop, when price crosses the sell stop, it activates your order. Yeah. There you go, bro. That's how I use it, man. Go on YouTube, type in, how do I use a sell stop? I guarantee you there's a billion different orders, man. But yeah. Alrighty. So that's EU. EU is pretty simple for me. GU. So GU actually worked out pretty nicely. It was a nice little, did anyone catch GU short this week? Anybody at all? The short that I'm in, actually, I took profits at a 1 to 15 and then at New York low sitting at a 1 to 30. If anybody caught it, great. Kudos to you guys. I will say this, it really took a lot of effort on what they did at GEU. And just the super clean price action that came in here was really, really nice. Going back into Friday's price action. So this is Friday's price action, right? They accumulated Asian into Frankfurt, into London. New York actually gave a really, really clean distribution, which they came back and mitigated 80% of. After that, they redistributed, breaking the low here and then sweeping out a little bit of liquidity to come back and mitigate 80% of the previous mitigation. After that, of course, they redistribute again out of a distribution that causes a low. They come back into the 80% and then once again give a very, very nice distribution. So I was actually looking up here. I had a limit order that I was taking out of this. Price never really actually appreciated to that high, but coming into, what we did during Asian into Frankfurt, we had the same exact price action, right? We have ultimately our London sweep. Our Frankfurt sweep out of Asian liquidity. She breaks the low, your accumulation, your ICE. She breaks it, comes back immediately to the 80%, which was fantastic. And then, off she goes. She ends up redistributing again. I was trying to catch a re-entry on it to get a second order, but she never came back. And overall, it was with my spread, it was a 5 pip stop. And this bad boy, like I said, I took first partials at a 1 to 15 when we broke the low. You got into GU short today. GU short today, really. So I did not get into a GU short today. The whole reason I personally didn't get into a GU short today is it really didn't give me anything to get into a short on. Not only that, but where we're trading into is actually the demand zone that I'm kind of sitting at. So for the low. Okay. We're actually getting into the demand zone that I wanted to kind of play into. So this for me is pretty much where I'm going to start looking for a potential buy. And this is why I'm looking for that buy coming into rate release, right? I'm anticipating bullish GU for a short little amount of time. And, I started to look, potentially into this price action here, but ultimately I feel like we're going to come and mitigate this move right here. So like 26.95 is kind of the area I'm looking at. We'll see. We'll see if price actually can start to build something in here. This is 26.95. How far were we from that? Oh, we came right into it. Look at that. So we did come into that price action. I don't see a tremendous amount of buys though. Yeah, I don't see a tremendous amount of buys yet. But I'm going to definitely be anticipating some kind of manipulation. And ideally what I want to see is the manipulation to the downside first, and then obviously break some kind of structure to itself and then mitigate to go higher with it. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm going to play it. Yeah, I mean, I got up this morning. I didn't see anything that I wanted to play on a GU short. We really didn't sweep anything. Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously we confirm redistribution here. On this break here, we confirm the redistro. But yeah, there was nothing other than Asian sweep out of this. There was really nothing for me to play out of it. And I really wouldn't, me personally, I'm not going to play anything out of that. That was just too much risk. Did you see today's GU New York? Wait, did you see today's GU's New York as a valid accumulation schematic? No. This right here. No, I mean, I don't even think you have a change of character. I mean, maybe this would have been the change of character. I mean, potentially that could have been the change of character, but no. Yeah, where were you looking? Let's see. Yeah, where's your schematic? I mean, you've got, okay, so that's your schematic, 1 drive, 2 drive, and it looks pretty weak. You're not talking about this, right? Because that right there doesn't float the boat, man. Yeah, I mean, this to me is nothing quite yet. I'm not I mean, 1 drive, 2. Yeah, I mean, this really isn't even a change of character. What was it? Let's see. Let's see. So does she give? All right, so she comes into 80 of this, so it needs to be a bigger than an 80 pullback on that, which I know it ain't going to be. This is maybe like a 61.8. So yeah, this isn't even the change of character. So this would be my change of character right here. Analyze any advice on how to improve fundamental analysis. Man, that's something I've been working on for like 2 years. I would say if you don't just subscribe to things like something like Bloomberg or I mean, I would definitely immerse yourself in a lot of the larger fundamental news outlets. And I'll tell you this, the biggest thing that's helped me is understanding and learning economics, and not economics from like a business standpoint. Well, I guess from a business standpoint as well too, but from a perspective of like what central banks do, their responsibilities, how their implications and decision making kind of influences not only currencies, but the overall monetary policies. Yeah, I guess the switch for me was, most of you guys, I've talked about it before. Most of you guys know, I mean, I have a master's degree. And yeah, I mean, my bachelor's degree was in criminal justice management. My master's degree was in business administration in in the area of financial global financial economics. So it kind of really interested me. I had no desire to really utilize it in I wasn't trying to be a banker or anything like that. It was one of those opportunities where, hey, I can go get a master's degree for a pretty cheap price. Let me go do it. So I would suggest, if you're not interested in going back to like college or university to get a graduate degree or even a bachelor's degree in it, I mean, most of these courses give free information online, meaning like they have their syllabus, they have all their information. Yeah, pick up the book, Introduction to Economics, pick up the book, do the actual, the actual work in it, try to find the book used, and that'll kind of give you a good understanding of where to go from there. All right, cool. Yeah. No, GU for me, man. I don't think this is, I mean, it could be, but I'm not buying it yet. I'm going to wait for the manipulation to the downside first. So, all right. But anyway, so GU short played out pretty nicely. I liked GU short. Hold on. Let me rearrange all this because today is done and I'll work on this tonight. Let's see. EG now. I am looking for shorts on EG. Let's see. I was looking for, and I still am looking for, my alert is still here. I do like the potential distribution that we have here. What do we tap into though? Nothing. Okay. I do like the potential distribution that we're in on EG. Overall, the one thing I'm going to be waiting for is just my alert to go off. So I'm waiting on this break right here. And ultimately what I'm going to be looking for is price to break this low, come back to mitigate today's New York move. And then targets are going to be shorting to make the next redistro. This will make sense too if I am bullish dollar, right? And pound starts to strengthen because of their rate hikes. This thing is just going to completely fall off the face of the earth. So, yep. Yeah, man. That's all I'm waiting on. That's all I'm waiting on is just the break. So we get that weakness. I'm good to go on it. So I do like it. And this will be my first targets to get down to this low. And then obviously targeting the next low over here to the left is where I'm going to be wanting to take this all the way down here, right? I want to take out this low down here. So overall, I mean, we're talking about, I think it was like 170 pip move, something like that. So it's 102 off of current price action. And if we get it up, was at 120 something pips. So just continuing the market cycle, right? Let this be the redistro that then breaks, and then we have a new leg that takes us down, right? I mean, that's kind of how I see EG. And with bank rates tomorrow, potentially what I want to see is I want to see a sell off during London, and then with the bank rates be what gets us back up into the mitigation of it to then continue shorting this bad boy off. But I like the effort that they've been doing, probably the last like 2 weeks. What they've really been playing into here was really nice. So I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to be waiting to see if this distribution actually does confirm itself and play out of that. So that's EG. The next thing I'm looking at, I'm selling Australian and Kiwi pairs. So I've been selling these for a very, very long time. If you look at what we've done, I mean, super, super clean, right? What I want to play into now on AU is, let's see. Yeah, I don't know why TradingView is so slow right now. There we go. All right. So what I do want to play into now is I want to see if we can actually come back. I don't think it's going to happen, but this would be the perfect scenario. If I had a Christmas list and I was going to give it to Santa, it would be come back into like the 67, like 800 area. I don't think we're going to get that. I think if anything, we are going to get another redistribution, but it's going to take some time, right? If you look at, how long like this redistribution or even this redistribution, right? You're talking 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right? We're not even at the start of it. So I really don't think I'm going to be able to work something in quite on AU. But I'm going to use AU to my advantage because AU may not line something up for me quite yet, but NU, it can play something on some order flow here. So this is where I'm looking right here. You're still holding? Awesome, bro. Yeah. I mean, continue to hold it, man. I don't see us reaching a bottom anytime soon. So what I am looking on NU here is this is what we were kind of watching this morning. I do like the play that we had here. Unfortunately, we never got the pullback, but we could still potentially pull back into this redistribution out of Kiwi News. Right. I did like how we played into it. This is something I'm going to be kind of paying attention to. And it's something that we could see. What are we right now? We are about 70 pips from the 50% of it. So it is something I'm going to be watching. I really want to see if we can get back up into this price action. I really like how we played into it. I like the mitigation. I like the manipulations we had, especially with Kiwi News. So if we can get price to get back up there, that's going to be where I'm going to be selling it from. And if we can't, it's going to be the same game plan like AU, right? Just play the redistros. What about gold? Look like it's coming to 1914 sometime. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I am not, I don't trade gold at all, man. There's nothing I really want to touch with gold simply because I really don't have a good thorough understanding of what is actually moving well, I have an understanding of what's moving the metals markets. I don't understand why it's moving the metals markets. So gold is just going to be sitting there. Yeah. And as the Australian dollar and the Kiwi, specifically Australian dollar, and the Kiwi dollar continue to show weakness, you're going to get just a bunch of chop in the gold markets. So yeah, cool, man. Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I've had a very, very busy summer, man. Let me tell you, I'm exhausted. But yeah, so NU, I am liking what NU is doing, and it's going to be as simple as, maybe we can get another redistribution, right? Something like this that we build up and, Asian kind of just gets taken out. Maybe we could play something into that, but it's going to be really order flow plays on AU and NU. And going over to something like ACAT and NCAT, it's going to be the same exact play, right? Australian dollar is really driving these markets. I was really hoping today that we would get back up, at least take out, like this non-manipulated redistro. But we kind of just been falling off. So where we're sitting right now, there we go. So where we're sitting right now, we just created a new leg. Out of Frankfurt's new low. Let's see. Let's get up to the 30-minute. All right. So out of Frankfurt's new low, we can potentially, we have a new leg, right? We came back into the 80% of it very nicely. We ended up making the new low. Realistically, I'd love for price to potentially get back up to where this alert is sitting up here. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. If we can at least break this and play into this distribution where news happened, that's going to be my game plan, right? My game plan is to start giving some risk, above maybe like the 88,300 level is probably where I'm going to be watching it. And then again, utilizing what NCAD's kind of been doing as well, comparable strength. That's going to be the game plan, right? It's going to be continuing to short the crap out of these. Am I in the top trade up here? Yeah. I'm holding quite a few ACAD shorts, man. I am the oldest trade on ACAD that I have is probably like 9 months now. But yep, I'm continuing to hold all ACAD shorts, NCAD shorts, AU and NU shorts. Yeah, so that's the game plan with ACAD. Really, this is the focal point for me right in here. I like the distribution that we got. I like the mitigation of it, and hopefully, and this is where I'm kind of hoping that we get into. Yeah, so this is where I'm kind of hoping we get into right here. I like how the news mitigated the distribution very nicely. We came right back into 80% of it, and then we just immediately sold off from it. So if price can work its way back into mitigation of news, that's going to be what I'm going to be looking for. All right. So this for me is my ground zero. This is X marks the spot. I want to see if we can come back into that. And that's going to be where I'm going to really try to get into some good price action. Can you explain the difference between order flow structure, break of structure, and order flow, and how to identify them? Not tonight, bro. Not tonight. That's a very lengthy discussion, and I honestly don't have the time to get into it. I can tell you that structure is leg based, right? So in order for you to have a break of structure, you would have had to have broken. If you're bullish and you break structure, then you had to break bullish structure. You had to break the bullish leg in order to be bearish. If your order flow is everything in between. Order flow is essentially the highs and lows within your structure point. So, and you have various degrees of order flow, right? You have order flow legs. You have just a simple higher high to a higher low to a higher high to a lower low. And that's a technical, right, break of order flow. But yeah, I mean, that is a very lengthy discussion, and I just don't have time for it tonight, man. I would say definitely look. I'm trying to remember which videos I've labeled as like order flow, but I want to say I did one on structure. That would be probably where I would start. Put an order to EG at 85125. 85125. 85125. You looking for buys? Um 851 whole move and 50 of the LPSY news move lineup. Yep, yeah, it does, man. It does. 85125. So what you're saying is you're thinking this is buyers here. So you're thinking this was a sweep out of all of this shenanigans to do what? To take this higher. So you're looking for buys on EG? I have no doubt that EG is going to mitigate whatever candle you're talking about down there, but I got a feeling that EG is going to do this. Yeah. I mean, don't change your bias based off of me, because I can be definitely wrong. But I'm personally not buying EG. I'm selling it. I'm selling it, and my target is to take out that low. I want this for me was my shakeout. This was my shakeout of this accumulation, and it was the mitigation of my previous supply point. The fact that these alleged buyers here couldn't take out this little old rinky dinky redistro for me was enough evidence to support at least my shorts on this. Yeah. Could we set a limit on UCAT? I guess you could, bro. Yeah. We are reaching a distribution that holds structure. I don't think it holds structure though, man. Yeah, I don't think it holds structure on UCAD. I'm almost positive it doesn't hold structure. Let's see. So yeah, I don't, for me, my structure point is actually going to be, actually, hold on. Let me go up to the daily real quick. My structure point is actually going to be on the buy side. So we are, I mean, and I'm not going to put it on the buy side because I'm actually trying to sell this. We are, so my most recent structure point is actually going to be right there is my most recent structure point. So I'm in this leg here because of this break. That looks like crap, but this break right here, this is my structure leg. And then I'm bullish from here. And that's it because you got no structure. And this is all order flow for me. Yeah. So I don't consider a break of structure an EG. No, I don't. Nope. I do not. Okay. All right. So we talked about ACAD, right? Let's go back over to NCAD real quick. All right. So we talked about ACAD. And like I said, this is my X marks the spot up here. So now let's get over to NCAD and same concept, right? I'm looking to short the crap out of this. And here we go. So this morning we were waiting on this break right here, which we got. Really nice. I loved it. We got the break. And ultimately, this is where we have a little divergence, right? NCAD is our leader. ACAD actually up here, ACAD actually created the UTAD. So for me, NCAD's the leader. I like it. This is that Australian rate release up here. So obviously, if price can work itself back up there, that's going to be the point of interest, right? So I haven't put my alert yet. You know, I'll probably put my alert above like 81,500, expecting us to take out this high. And, you know, yeah, if we can get price action into this, I like how immediately, if you line up this and line up this, I guarantee you're going to get a really nice little confined area. Let's see. You're going to get a little bit of confluence in it, which I kind of like. So there's the 80, and we're talking about, there is, yeah, there you go. So I do like how we have confluence in this last manipulation in news. Now I'll probably, though, just to be safe, I'm probably going to have my alert sitting at, I'll probably have my alert sitting at like 81,600 as we come up above the 50% of the whole thing. And then ideally this redistribution here, right? This is ultimately where the buys come in. Now the last buy order is right there, but the buys come into this accumulation and then sweep out. So ultimately anything in between, like say like 81, like 70, all the way up to like 81.90, this 20 pip range is where I'm going to be looking for price action to short this sucker off. All right. So I do like NCAD. Again, using ACAD comparable strength. That's how I'm going to play this, and just see if price can work itself back up into that area. And then we'll see how it goes. Targets for me, again, I don't have any real like short-term targets. All of my targets are going to be to, you know, ultimately take out like the COVID low is where I'm looking to go. So, you know, overall, I mean, this is going to be first priority for me. This will be the accumulation that then turns into a redistro, and then maybe we'll get a little bit of pullback, but these Australian and Kiwi pairs really haven't been giving a lot of pullback to begin with. So, you know, it's one of those, when you get into it, hold on for the ride, you know? So ACAD, NCAD, I'm definitely looking to short along with AU and NU. The other ones, and just sticking with some Australian Kiwi pairs, right? Odd Chef and N Chef, another two big ones that I'm pretty happy with how these bad boys have just been selling off. I'm a little disappointed that, you know, over the last couple of weeks, this sucker really hasn't given anything. The one order up here that is still, you know, active, I mean, that thing is in pretty nice little profits. I mean, overall, this thing is, she is 250 something, 260 pips in profit at this point. So I like the short. I like where we're coming into. And now it's just to, ultimately wait for the pullback. If price can work itself, and you can see where my box was, if price can work itself back up here, great. That's kind of where I want to see it, ultimately play back into, is some kind of at least leg. So we're right here right now. I like how this mitigated the previous one here. So if price can work at least something back up into this area here, that's where I want to play into. And I like the distribution that we got up at the top. For me, I know that's silly thinking that we're going to get that deep of a pullback. So A chef, realistically, the two ways across any of these Australian Kiwi pairs, two ways I'm getting in. She pulls back into my leg, or we get a really clean redistro. We get a really clean redistro that I can confirm is a redistro. I'm definitely going to jump in, just ultimately, it'll be reduced risk just in case I get in prematurely, and I'm able to at least continue to play and try to catch the move on it. But I do like Odd Chef for the short as well. And same thing with NZD Chef, right? I like how we've confirmed the redistro as soon as I know I had here we go. So I like how we confirmed the redistro, right? And ultimately at this point, it's this right here where I'm looking. I think realistically, I think that we are going to either play into news. There we go. So we're either going to play into news here, right? Which is a possibility, or we're going to play up a little higher into the 80% of the whole thing. So, that's where I'm going to have, I've got an alert sitting here just to see what happens when we get into this price action. And that's still a possibility. I honestly think that we're just going to go higher with it. I think that there's going to be some kind of manipulation above these highs, and we're going to play into news. This is going to be really my main focal point, is going to be that point here. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Again, I'm going to continue to look for the shorts on all of these Aussie and Kiwi pairs, and then continue going from there. Let me see. So we didn't talk about U Chef. I am looking for the buys on U Chef. Where are we with this? All right, so same game plan. I like the accumulation that we had, and from a market cycle perspective, I'd really appreciate a shakeout to ultimately come back to mitigate to then take it higher. That's really the only way I get into this. If it doesn't happen, if we don't get the sell off, and maybe it doesn't happen until Friday, maybe Friday is the reason we get down there. If we don't get this, then whatever, let it be, and I'll kind of just sit here and watch it do its thing. I'm not going to try and chase UChef, especially because it doesn't move as violently or volatilely as some of these other crosses. So you can get a really tight stop loss with it. But yeah, there's really nothing that I want to do. And eventually it's going to have to come back and mitigate our spring, right? So I was hoping that this is the distribution that gets us down to mitigate to then reaccumulate with a shakeout. And I got that door open for that to still kind of transpire. I just don't know if we're going to have that volatility prior to Friday. Maybe Friday, that's when we get it. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to sit back and watch it. So overall, like it's the same bias, Kiwi and Australian dollar shorts. I'm also looking, to see whether or not I can short that EU play. Yen crosses, I'm not doing anything with, was seeing AU accumulation on the daily. You were seeing AU accumulation on the daily. So let me ask you this. Give me a fundamental reason for buyers to come into the Australian dollar at this point before we even look at the chart. Accumulation on the daily. All right. So But where's your accumulation? I think you can annotate. Hold on. You haven't incorporated. Okay. All right. No worries. Where? How can that? Okay. So here you go. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Sell me on this, man. Why is this an accumulation? So you're talking about this right here, right? This is what you're talking about as an accumulation. I think. Hold on. Talking about March to, yeah. So you're talking about, I guess it could close out COTs. So you're talking about this as an accumulation. I guess sell me on the idea. How come that's an accumulation for you? Will I chase a distro for UCAD around 33,725, which made a new low? I'm not going to chase a distro. I mean, if I'll tell you this, UCAD will be a trade of opportunity. If I got nothing else going on and a really clean distro shows up on UCAD, then okay, yeah, my anticipation is if it gives a distro, the UTAD is going to happen Friday. Because you need an accumulation to redistro. All right, bro, I got you. Yeah, I think for me, right? I mean, we're in a bearish cycle, right? Market cycle is bearish. We come back into supply, right? We come back into supply, and we ultimately distribute, right? We take out, some ugly, let's see, since October 2020, we broke the previous high, and now we are mitigating and accumulating. Since October 2022, we broke the previous high. Yeah, but that high doesn't hold anything, at least for me, it doesn't. October of 2022, we broke the previous high. So you're because of this break here, you're bullish on AU because of that break right there. If that's the case, then you're also bullish when we broke this high here, right? Just look at the market cycle. We come back. Actually, do I have it marked out? Let's see. Do I have it marked out? I want to see. Okay. So it's not a secret, right? We distribute in the 80% of what is maintaining our leg. We break any kind of demand here. What was the purpose of this? This was our shakeout, right? Market cycle. We had our distro. Price accumulated. It needed to give a shakeout, which then caused the new low, right? For me, this red dot right here to this red dot here was order flow. It was not a market cycle or structure. What's maintaining my structure point? This distribution up here is what is the origination point for this entire leg. So, and I know this chart looks like crap. Hold on. I know this chart looks like crap, but this break here doesn't do anything for me. This break right here just gives me more cause for me to continue to short this off. And when we get into what we have here, let's go maybe an 8 hour. So like an 8 hour here, we have when we have market cycle, hold on, I'm trying to get it in there. Okay. So we have our distribution, right? The distribution ultimately leads to taking out demand, right? So distribution comes in, and now you're right. This is an accumulation, right? It's an accumulation that sweeps out weak-handed sellers in the form of a shakeout. But I'll tell you right now, I'm 100% expecting us to break this low, and then if the AU guide's kind of gracious with a pullback, I'm looking for a pullback to continue shorting it and making new lows, and ultimately, like I said, dropping down to that COVID low. But from a market cycle perspective, it makes no sense for this to be the accumulation. Yeah. Okay, I got you, bro. Okay, so we talked about, like I said, yen crosses. Man, I'm not doing much with yen crosses. They are just. I don't think anybody. If somebody has a handle on what BOJ is doing, I will gladly give you the podium. But I have no flipping clue. But what I do know, right? What I do know is this bad boy came in beautifully. Hold on. This bad boy came in beautifully. And of course, there was no way I was going to have a limit order on this. It was just way too big. This thing was a 40 pip stop. So, but she came in beautifully into the accumulation that I was buying out of at the middle of July. And now you can kind of just see ideally it's we either reaccumulate and then mitigate to go higher, or we come back down into here and then go higher. That's really what I'm going to be looking for, but it's like 400 pips either way. So this isn't anything I'm looking at this week. And same goes for like UJ. So like UJ, we will. There we go. So UJ ultimately, same thing, right? Accumulation, reaccumulation, garbage price action. We come back to mitigate the previous market cycle. And what do? We make a new high. So I'm kind of hoping that we get a little bit of a pullback so I can continue to buy this up off the pullback. But UJ is one of those, man, where it's just not giving me anything at all. But yeah, yen crosses, I'm kind of just sitting back. I'm waiting, on UJ itself, like where I want to buy this thing, ideally where I want to buy it from is currently sitting a brisk 405 pips, right? 350, 400 pips. So it's not something I'm going to be looking at. When we look at the retracement, it's almost a 0.5 retracement on. Why can't we accept the area as a leg on UCAD? Because it's an order flow leg. That's all it is. Yep, it's an order flow leg. I mean, I'm not telling you not to put a limit order. I can tell you I'm not putting a limit order on it. I don't have any evidence of sellers on UCAD yet. So, you could see I started to look at it, but yeah, I mean, I will take price action, but that's it. That's all I'm going to take. I'm not putting a limit order on it. It holds nothing for me. So it holds order flow. This is all it is order flow. I mean, realistically, technically the leg would be, let's see, hold on. The leg for me, the order flow leg, right? Because the structure leg's actually bullish. The order flow leg would be up here. So because of that break, your order flow leg is here. So is that what you're talking about? Wait, what's the number you got? 33,725. No. So the leg is being held up here somewhere in like the 3,800 block of UCAD. That's where for me would be the structure point. So BOJ announcing that they are buying more bonds, that makes UJ that much more bullish, right? So, well, BOJ announced they're buying more bonds, but they're also in the same sentence, we're saying that they're going to be easing as well. I'm sorry, they're going to be tightening. So they're saying they're going to be tightening, yet they're easing by buying bonds. So you tell me what the heck they're trying to do, man. I have no clue. But I think the confusion is what is just causing the yen to completely collapse. So that's why I'm buying UJ. Yeah. Over on indices. So over on indices here. So let's see. We have some really good movement to the downside. And in this, I'm sure you guys can see the distribution already kind of playing out. I'm not sure if we're going to get one more drive to the upside, but we'll see. I'm really not looking for buys though, from where indices are at currently. I'm only going to be looking to short. And if the short doesn't give it to me, I'm just going to kind of just sit back and wait on it. But all right, here we go. You're also bearish on ACAD, but that did break the previous high, right? Yep. Do we just see it as an order flow, or do you have a different reason to still be bearish on it? On ACAD, because we're still bearish in structure. Structure is bearish. Fundamentally, we're bearish. And also look at NCAD. So you have comparable strength. NCAD is showing you the weakness. All right. So on indices, did anybody catch the short on indices here? It actually gave a pretty, yep. Yeah. You got it, bro. Have a go, man. Yeah, man. Did you, hey, did you take I know we had the limit order out of the 80, but did anyone take the power hour short? Anyone take the power hour short here? I personally didn't, just because I wasn't trading power hour. And then NASDAQ had one out of power hour as well that I will kind of look at real quick. But in a nutshell, I mean, liked what it did, right? You have Pac-Man going on, right? We got Pac-Man. We confirmed the distro, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 drives. Confirmed the distro. Specifically, I liked the sell orders being filled. You know, you had the news manipulation, and then obviously this distro right here was pretty clean. And then all price did was just walk itself back up, come right back into the 80 and take off. The one thing that I liked about it, so the one thing I liked about it, I was kind of hoping, I did not have the limit order out of this just because this was power hour and I was done kind of trading. Oh, what the heck? My trading view deleted my flipping. All right, I'll have to fix that. But yeah, I definitely liked the movement that we saw. And then there was an opportunity. Yeah, there was an opportunity during power hour. You know, obviously, you had the distribution, price comes right back into the 50%. I'm not sure if you would have been filled on the 80, but you definitely would have been filled on the 50. And the 50 would have only have been, I mean, the 50 would have been a 40-point stop with a couple hundred points to the downside. So I think it would have been definitely worth it. It just happened during power hour and I wasn't up for it. So ultimately, I like the play for shorts on indices, you know, and obviously where we're sitting at now, this thing. So the limit order that I had on there, let's see, to this low where I took some more partials, you know, you're sitting at 430 points in profit on it. So really clean. What I'm anticipating at this point is that we come back into this move right here. I'd be looking, you know, my alert is probably going to be set around like the 35,480 level. And I'm going to be looking to see if we can get price back up here for tomorrow morning to continue to short this off. Looking at like something like SPX. SPX was the leader, really didn't get a lot of entries. Actually, there was, for me, didn't meet any of my criteria for a potential entry, but it did give me a couple of things, you know, like we had the, there we go. We had Asian price action that did come in and sweep out the lunchtime reversal that happened here on Friday. So that's why I really didn't anticipate us trading above these Asian highs. And then, of course, on the redistribution here, we, you know, ultimately during power hour gave a type 2 distro. NASDAQ gave the type 1. So if you were looking at them, NASDAQ was the play to take because it gave the distro. And then ultimately, what do? We just sold off very, very nicely. So there was no play for me, like I said, on SPX, but it gave me, confirmations to take the US 30 short. And then in back testing, because I personally didn't get into NASDAQ, but in back testing, it gave the opportunity to take the NASDAQ short. And ultimately it was the same price action. We had the distribution and then coming in. Come on, there we go. So coming in during power hour in this redistribution, really, really clean, right? There's your type 1, 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, UTAD. We get the break, price comes back into 50 and 80, and then off she goes, right? So this was actually a pretty good play. Man, why has this got 2? So let's see. So this would have been a 16-point stop. I think I back tested on the other one, but just to the low to confirm redistro would have been a 1 to 6. So it is over my 1 to 5 that I wanted. And then ultimately to get it down to confirm the new low, which would have been here, you're talking at a 1 to 20. And yeah, she blew that out of the water. Yeah, she blew that out of the water. Actually, New York low today was at like a 1 to 25. So really clean distro. Again, I'm looking for, I don't think we're going to get a pullback all the way back up here. I think ideally what we may get is something like this, then the break, and then mitigation to take it lower. That's ultimately how I'm going to be looking for it. What's your macro view for US 30? Do you see it coming at 32,000 at some point? Do I see it coming at 30? I think it's, let's say, so I am anticipating U30 to go. Let's see. So I would like to see, let's see, I would like to see U30 at minimum. So at minimum, I feel like we're coming into here, which is that like 33 to like upper 32s. And I really honestly, I think we're probably going to take these lows out and probably come down into here. So we may even see a sub 30,000. That's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. We'll see. Is the 1 to 5 just for partials? I thought you wanted, no, on indices I do 1 to 5, bro. Currencies I do 1 to 10, but indices I'll do 1 to 5. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much my game plan. I kind of like where everything's kind of like sorting out, and yeah, we'll kind of see what happens going forward. Keep an eye on bonds, right? We definitely saw a little bit of appreciation this week on bonds. So I'm curious, obviously as bonds continue to appreciate, so will the dollar. So that's kind of where I started to really start targeting some more EU shorts. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I got. Anybody have anything they got to go through, anything they want to look at? What time EST is power hour? So 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Stock market closes at 4 p.m. Eastern. So it's the last hour of trading. Thoughts on BOJ monetary policy? So I figured out how they make decisions, right? They make decisions. Hold on. They make decisions. Hold on. Where is she at? There we go. So they make decisions here. That's what they use right there. They have a magic 8 ball over there in the Bank of Japan, and they just shake it. And they're like, what are we going to do today? Because I have honestly, I have no clue, man. No clue whatsoever. They talked about bond purchasing, and then next week they're going to talk about they're stopping bond purchasing, and they're actually going to, after they're going to actually start to increase rates is what they're going to do. So I honestly, dude, have no clue. Yeah. So awesome. Well, listen, that's everything I got. I kind of, like I said, I wanted to do this quick. I've got somewhere to be tonight. And yeah, I'm glad I was able to at least hop on and not cancel again. So thank you for everybody for hopping on. Yeah. And I'll see you guys in the chat if you guys need anything. You guys have a good one.